Hey guys, we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, discouragement. I love it so much. Ugh. Do you guys ever feel discouraged? Am I the only one? Don't tell me I'm the only one. That's even more discouraging. It feels awful when you're discouraged. It feels like you just want to quit. And probably there's something going on where your expectations just aren't really in alignment with reality and you were expecting something different. So you're working really hard. You're trying really hard. You're reaching out and being loving and being forgiving and accepting, and you're just not getting the reciprocating response that you expected. You're not seeing the results that you expected. I'm working really hard, Tom, but it's not working. Yeah, it's not working, and we're going to talk about it in this video. So don't get discouraged. We're in this together. We're going to make it through. If the devil can't defeat you, he's going to try to discourage you. And it's so easy to get discouraged when the effort that you're putting in is not bringing back the results that you want. Can you imagine being a farmer and going out there and trying every day to make a crop happen and then it just doesn't rain, or it rains too much and it's completely out of your control? A lot of the things that discourage us are just out of our control. And it's really hard for us to accept that because we want to believe we're in control of things. And then sometimes the things that we are in control of aren't really working. And it's hard for us to face the reality that what I'm doing is not working. What I'm doing is not getting the results that I hope to achieve. And that feeling is just so awful. It's so deadening inside. And maybe you struggle with this. I know I do. I get discouraged. I'm a human being and I have feelings just like other human beings, and I can get discouraged. I never set out to plant a church. It's not something that I ever thought I would do. And it's so much fun to plant a church. And about 2 years ago, we planted a church in the greater Daytona area. It's so exciting. It's so thrilling. And you have all these people that come together and they're like, we're going to do this. We're going to be here. We're going to be excited about this. And then after a while, what happens? People just, for whatever reasons, they move on. And it's so discouraging because you're like, oh my goodness, please don't leave. Please keep coming. Please don't stop. Tell me you love me. It's so disheartening and so discouraging. I know what it feels like, but you just keep going. Somehow you just find the resolve to keep going. But there's many lessons to learn in that time of discouragement. Every time you get discouraged, just think of it like that. Maybe there's a lesson here to learn. Maybe my expectations aren't right. Or maybe the things that I'm doing, trying to get these results, just aren't ever going to get those results. And maybe I need to stop for a minute, take a break, pause, and become a little more mindful and try to figure out what's going on. Why am I feeling this way? And what can I do to not let the discouragement win? Because you can't let the discouragement win. You may be one step away from a breakthrough, but you're never going to get to that breakthrough if you let discouragement win. You could get distracted away from what's important. You could get discouraged away from what's important. A lot of people quit because they get discouraged. I think one of the things that we have to realize is when we're feeling discouraged, we should acknowledge that we're feeling discouraged. Some of us don't want to give in. We don't want to admit it. We want to believe that we're strong, powerful, capable, and facing the fact that we're losing, it's not working, our plan stinks, and maybe the other person in the office was right. It can be hard for us to acknowledge this. Sometimes we can just double down and keep doing what isn't working, which doesn't make sense at all. That's not a good strategy. That's not a way to win. And I think one of the first things that we have to talk about is when you're feeling discouraged, you probably ought to admit that I'm feeling discouraged. Now, you got to only do that to save people because some people will take advantage of that. Oh, you're feeling discouraged? Let me kill you. Oh, you're feeling discouraged? Let me take your job from you. You should totally leave. You should seriously take that job in Toledo. I think that's a good fit for you. Watch out for those people. They're not really your friends. So you got to find safe people that you can talk about this with and say, I'm feeling discouraged. And who won't try to solve your problems for you. Well, you know what you ought to do. You don't want all those people in your life either. You want somebody who just says, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. Why do you think you feel discouraged? Well, I feel discouraged because what I'm doing is not working. Okay, well, what can you do? And so you need to maybe process this. And you might need to take a break. Honestly, you might just need to get up and take a walk or turn on a TV show. But you do need to face the reality. You might need to take a break for a minute. And at some point, you're going to have to decide to choose resilience. Now, I got a whole download on my website, on my store tab, about resilient mindset coaching. And even though, I wrote this book on it, I wrote it because I need it myself. I had to work through all that information. And I even have a course on resilient mindset coaching. But sometimes it's hard to be resilient. Resilience is get up and don't quit. Even though you want to quit, even though you feel tired, even though you feel frustrated, even though the results aren't happening the way you would want them to, you got to get up one more time. You got to find your why. You got to find your reason. You got to find your purpose. And you got to decide that even if I don't see the results that I want, what I'm doing is so important. What I'm doing is so magnificent and so life-changing. And you say, yeah, but Tom, my stuff isn't life-changing. Well, maybe you're doing the wrong stuff. Maybe you're doing the wrong stuff. But maybe you could do what you're doing in a way that does change lives. Start asking those questions. How could I make a greater impact doing what I'm doing right now? So you're stuck in an office. Well, there's other people in that office. Make a difference in their lives. Focus on making an impact and blessing people and making their lives better. There's got to be somewhere that you can find a connection to your greater overall purpose of going out there in the world and making a difference and changing lives. And if there's not, then maybe you need to rethink what you're doing. And that may be what's really bothering you is you've backed yourself into a cul-de-sac and you feel stuck. And that happens at times in life where you feel stuck and you need a new start, you need a new beginning, you need a fresh start. Maybe you need to think about moving. Maybe you need to think about changing jobs, changing careers. It happens. But chances are that discouragement is trying to tell you something. And we got to first recognize and realize there's a lesson to be learned here that's going to make us dig in and be more resilient. Okay, and one of the best things that you and I can do when we're getting discouraged is just do something. Just do something. Once you take time to back up and think about it and think about what's working, what's not working, and you acknowledge those feelings that people are walking away from me, and it feels so awful when people don't want to be around me, it feels so terrible when people won't stay, and once you acknowledge all those feelings and you legitimize those feelings, then you got to do something. You got to do something. You got to make a change. And you need to get out a piece of paper maybe and write down, here's some things that could be done. Here's some new ways of doing something. Get out there and clean. Just start organizing and cleaning your space or organizing and cleaning your calendar or start, putting some of these goals that have been spinning around in your mind into actionable steps. You got to do something because sitting around and letting yourself wallow in this misery is not any way to really change. So feel the pain, acknowledge it, decide to become resilient, and then you gotta start taking action. Do something now. What is the next right thing to do? What is the next positive thing you can do? And speaking of positivity, try to surround yourself with people who are positive. Don't be around the people only that just, nothing ever works. Life doesn't work for me. You can't be around those people. They're projects. You need to care about them. You need to try to rescue them. You need to try to help them, but they're not there to help you unless they just teach you more resolve. You need some positive people in your life. And if you don't have any, then you just got to start reading them. You got to start watching videos by people who are positive, who believe that life can be changed and you can make an impact and you can make a difference. Look, the resilient people that are successful in life are not the people that don't have setbacks. They're people that even though they have setbacks, they get up, they continue on, they don't quit, they persevere, and they find a purpose greater than themselves. So I would challenge you to that. I would challenge you to get back up, dust yourself off, and realize that a long journey happens 1 mile at a time. And every once in a while, you're going to get a flat tire. And you could quit. You could give up. You could quit. Okay, you can. You totally can. I can't stop you. But is that really what you want for your life? Do you want to quit all the time? Do you want to quit everything? No, you got to dig down deep and you got to decide this is worth it. I know why I'm here. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And even though I feel this way, I'm going to get up. I'm going to dust myself off. I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to give up. And who knows what's around the next bend in your life? Who knows? It could get a little bit rougher. It could. But chances are with this kind of mindset, you're going to start to see the obstacles begin to fall in front of you. And you never know what God might do in your life if you just decide, I'll pick my foot up one more time. I'm going to pick my foot up one more time. And I don't want to see you give up. I'm not going to give up. And I don't want to see you give up. No matter what happens, no matter how challenging it gets, no matter what difficulties we face, we got to keep going. We got to keep moving forward. We can't let the distractions and the discouragement defeat us and overwhelm us. If you are feeling a little bit defeated, please reach out to me. I'd love to work with you. I'd love to help you. I'd love to hear your story. And then whatever I can do to walk alongside of you and clarify goals and set goals, I'm here for you. Check out this video that I'm recommending to help you. Check out this playlist that I think will be beneficial to you. And as always, be present to life, even when it sucks. Even when it sucks, you got to be present to it. But then don't let it stay there. Start moving forward. I'll see you guys next time.